People want to pursue a professional fight career when they see how cool it is when pro fighters win championships, get rich, famous, and make a big name for themselves. But they never really think about how these fighters made it there and the struggles they had to go through behind the scenes. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about why fighting is a shitty career choice unless you're in the top 1%, and also the difficulties that go along with it. First off, I want to talk about the influencer boxers and why I'm excluding them from the topic. Influencer boxers have a much different route to their fighting career compared to normal athletes. They make a shitload of money because of the fame and recognition they had to begin with. In this video, I'm only going to be talking about why it's so hard for the majority of people to make it big as a professional fighter. It's pretty unrealistic to think that if you become a professional fighter, you're going to end up being a millionaire. These are the annual earnings of professional fighters in America, calculated by its average. To put it in perspective, this is the average annual salary of an American high school teacher. And to top even more things off, whatever money the fighter earns from their fight, they would have to give away a portion of it to their gym, their coach, their management, and also taxes. This is also the annual earnings in America. Pro fighters in many other countries get paid way less than this. Many pro fighters still have to work regular jobs just to fund their training expenses as well as their rent, food, etc. This is what Ben Askren had to say about it.
I usually advocate against MMA. It is a shitty career. You know, I say out of the many thousands of people across America who want to do MMA, man, if you make it to the UFC, okay, this is what I talk them through when they're like not that skilled. If you make it to the UFC, which that's hard, right? You're gonna have to do a bunch of amateur fights, then a bunch of low-level pro fights. Someone's gonna have to see you. You're gonna have to not get injured. All these good things are gonna have to happen to you. So you make it to the UFC, and you're on a baseline contract, and you win all 3 fights your first year, you probably make like $80,000. Well, okay, that's all right. But then hold on, you didn't pay your management, you didn't pay your trainer, you didn't pay your taxes. You're sitting about $30,000 to $40,000. You're living at the poverty level, and that's if you won all 3 fights and everything goes really well for you, right? So MMA is not it's not a great career. It really isn't.
The amount of work you do compared to how much you get paid is just not worth it. I mean, they're literally putting their lives on the line, and they're getting paid less than high school teachers. So this basically means that once a fighting career is over, finding other career paths would be difficult due to the limited number of transferable skills in combat sports. This is because combat sports are specialized into one thing, which is obviously fighting. A fighting career can cause immense mental and emotional strain. A lot of people don't realize how mentally tough you gotta be in this sport. Fighters have to cope with their fears, anxieties, and performance pressure in addition to possible public and media criticism and scrutiny. Even from my own experience, when I spent months training for an amateur fight, there were a few times where I felt scared shitless during the weeks leading up to my fight, to which I found it crazy how professionals can do this over and over again for a huge portion of their lives. A fight career also comes with extreme highs and lows depending on if you win or lose fights. A notable example is when Hatton, a former welterweight world champion boxer, was literally suicidal and went through a deep depression after his loss to Manny Pacquiao. Because this is a one-on-one sport, everything is on you. I mean, sure, you got a coach and team ringside, but people only see you on the big stage. If you lose, you're the only one that's truly feeling the defeat, unlike in team sports where you share that pain with your teammates. In addition to this, you're also going to miss out on a lot of things because you're going to have to devote your entire life to this career if you want to make it big. You got to spend a lot of time training, which can have an effect on your social life and personal relationships. Like they say, it's a lonely sport. In a lot of big corporations like the UFC and its viewers, for example, you don't just have to be a good fighter, but you also have to be a good entertainer to make it big. The better you are at being able to sell a fight, the more praise and reward you get in return. This means that you could be really good at fighting, but if nobody wants to see you fight, then you're not getting a fight and you're not making it to the spotlight. Another problem regarding the selling fights is that fighters below the lightweight division are generally less renowned than fighters in the lightweight division and above. Normally, the divisions further up receive most of the praise. For example, in the 90s, the heavyweight division of boxing was the one that dominated the sport and caught the most attention compared to any other weight division. Another prime example is that in 2017, Demetrius Johnson, who was the former UFC flyweight champion, complained that he was not given the same opportunities nor promotion as other fighters, even though he was the champion and finishing everybody in his division. While he was the champ, all the praise and attention was given to Conor McGregor. The year after, he was traded with Ben Askren. Demetrius Johnson was then transferred from the UFC to one championship. This trade was a shock to many MMA fans. A lot of people don't realize how dangerous combat sports is and how detrimental injuries can be. These injuries can include bones, tendons, joints, concussions, CTE, and you could even lose an eye. From personal experience, I was one of those people that went into martial arts thinking that I wouldn't get seriously injured, but when I was about 6 months into boxing, the tendons in both of my hands nearly got ruptured, and I ended up having to lay off for about 4 months. I've also gotten knee to the head during a spar and got a deep cut on my forehead. Getting struck hurts, and injuries that permanently harm you can even shorten your career. You really need to know what you're getting yourself into. Like they say, you can't play fighting. I mean, sure, sparring can be playful and fun at times, but getting in a ring or a cage and actually fighting is a whole different experience. So to conclude, I need to emphasize that the intention of this video isn't to discourage anybody from pursuing a professional fight career. If you want to have a fight career because that's something that you love to do and that's how you want your lifestyle to be, then just go for it. Who's stopping you, bro? And if you don't end up succeeding, at least from all the training you've done, you now know how to fight, and you've likely improved both physically and mentally, and you can still make a career out of fighting by becoming an instructor or a coach. So what are your thoughts? Comment down below, and make sure to support me by hitting that like and subscribe button, and that's gonna be it for the video. Peace.